His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme, let me join you on the occasion of this conference, A New Spring, to try and address the issue of pollination of bees and the great challenges that we find ourselves confronted with. Science and observations across the planet are telling us that we are facing an unprecedented situation when it comes to the future availability of pollination services, in large part related also to the disappearance of bees and bee stocks across the globe. We are still trying to understand in its complexity and also in some of the reasons and the causality what exactly is causing this syndrome and how we may be able to address it. It is in the heart of UNEP's work that we look at the services that nature provides to us in society, to our economies and to nature in order to successfully maintain biodiversity and all that we derive from it for our lives and our well-being. I would like to congratulate you for convening once more a dialogue and a conference on this subject. The concern that we are observing across the world in terms of loss of biodiversity, our inability to meet targets that we have set in the past, and now also the new challenge of the 2020 targets, draws our attention to the urgency with which we must address both emerging science and the ability to carry it into the policy arena. The loss of biodiversity and the loss of ecosystem services continues to preoccupy us. It is affecting poor people, it is affecting wealthy people, it is affecting our economies and our societies. It is in part through the work that UNEP has been promoting in the context of the green economy and also the work on the economics of ecosystems and biodiversity that we have tried to bring a further lens or a further ability to understand quite how serious and how far-reaching the consequences of the loss of biodiversity are. Bees, if they could send us invoices for the services they provide to us, would be a very rich species on this planet. Indeed, we are only just beginning to understand quite how far-reaching our dependence is on pollination services, and therefore also the urgency with which we must address the phenomena that we have observed. The work that UNEP is undertaking in the broader context on a transition towards a green economy very much tries to focus on understanding the value that nature provides to us in our daily lives, but also to our economies. It is therefore also the linkage between science and policy that will increasingly inform economic decisions. It is ultimately the responsibility of our governments and our societies as a whole to ensure that the loss of biodiversity and the rate of loss of biodiversity in particular are reversed. A key, charismatic megafauna example, if I may use that analogy, are bees. It may not meet the same criteria as elephants and rhino, who are equally increasingly threatened in many parts of the African continent, but it is a documentation of the importance of understanding that biodiversity is not simply a phenomenon of observing bees or other animals or flora and fauna in general in nature and in the wilderness. It is to understand the foundations upon which our societies, our economies and our well-being on this planet are founded. The linkage between science and policy is also at the heart of the United Nations Environment Programme's mandate. It is this science and policy interface that is also at the heart of UNEP's mandate. It is one of the reasons why I would like to commit, through my message to you today, UNEP's continued commitment to working with you, the scientific community, parliamentarians and leaders across society in bringing the understanding about what is happening to bees across the planet to the center stage of some of the major environmental impacts that we are witnessing. It is also in the work of the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, IPBS, that you as member states have established since last year, that we expect to get more understanding about what is happening and how we can respond to it. Thank you once again for convening this conference. On behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme, I wish you a very successful meeting, and please count on us on taking both your directions, the energy and the commitment that you bring to this topic forward in the work that we do, not least through the United Nations Environment Assembly that will convene later this year in June here in Nairobi. The first time that all member states of the United Nations will come together under a universal membership platform to address precisely the kinds of issues that you will discuss at this conference. Thank you.